A state of emergency has been declared and the National Guard has been deployed. All right, and this story is sadly a prime example of if stuff's going down, if it really hits the fan, if there's really a emergency, the government is not going to be able to save you, right? They might try, they might have their best intentions, hopefully. At least some people will, right? Some people will have good intention, but overall, they are not going to be able to save you, all right? This emergency has been going on for 40 days. 40 days now, all right? And it's not the hurricane in Florida. It's not the hurricane in Florida. That's a totally different thing. And that's a whole nother example of how the government is not going to save you, all right? You are on your own, and you need to take your preparedness into your own hands, all right? I've seen crazy ideas like, don't worry about food shortages. The government just has massive warehouses filled with food. It's like these things don't exist. That's I don't know where that came from, but I've seen that before. And the only warehouse full of food is going to be your warehouse full of food. All right, that's the only one you're going to have access to. Maybe they do have warehouses full of food for the military or something along those lines, but it's not going to be for you. All right, that's the point. You need to take your preparedness into your own hands. So let's dive into this story. All right, and this is just a prime example of why you need to be extra prepared at all times, because it can hit at any moment. So a state of emergency has been extended in the state of Mississippi and Jackson, Mississippi. All right, so this emergency has already been going on for more than 40 days, but it's been extended until, I believe, the end of November now. All right, so the emergency that's happening in Mississippi is that the water lines have broke. All right, there was massive flooding in Jackson, Mississippi last month and a half ago, and it overwhelmed the water lines and the water pumps, and there was a lot of breakage in the lines and a lot of back sewage in the lines. All right, people are reporting brown sewage water in their normal water, and there's been a boil water advisory this whole time. So 40 plus days they've been told they need to boil their water. If they're lucky to have their water on, some places still do not have water because the pumps have not been restored to pump the correct amount and pressure of water to get it to the whole city. All right, so some people don't have water at all. What would you do if you didn't have water for 40 days? Could you handle that? Would you be prepared for that? Hopefully you have a well, maybe you have a well, but who knows, all right? This is a city, this is Jackson, Mississippi. I'm sure nobody has a well there, all right? This is a city of 150,000 people, and they all don't have water. And it's like we're sending all this money overseas. We're doing all this stuff. We're country building all over the world. But our own country, our own backyard in Mississippi is just neglected. What's going on here? How is there not water? This is like third world country stuff. How is there not water in Jackson, Mississippi after 40 plus days of no water? It's not like there was a tornado or hurricane or something that like destroyed everything or whatever. This was a flood, all right? It was a serious flood, but at the same time, 40 plus days, and they're extending it until the end of November. So it's going to be, 2-3 months for these people about that they're not going to have water. Hopefully they get it fixed by then. And what's something you can do? All right. Life straws. All right. I have no affiliation or anything like that. Life straws are incredible. Sawyer mini water filters are incredible too. Little tiny water filters. I think they filter out 10,000 gallons of water. So if these people were, it's like if there's a flood or there's an emergency in Florida, there's water all over the place, but you can't drink the water. The water's contaminated. The water's dirty. But if you have a life straw, you have a filter, you can drink this water. It's available to you. And you can put it in water bottles, you can put it in pouches, you can fill up gallons with it. You can do a lot with it. And I'm sure these people in Jackson, Mississippi a lot of them were wishing they had a life straw, all right? This was one of the first things we got for our bug out bag. It was just like one of the most intuitive things to get is just, oh, water. You know, what if we bug out and we need water? We need to drink water somewhere. And they're legit. All right, I've tested them both out, Life Straw and Sawyer Mini water filter, in streams and ponds in Colorado, right? Streams on the ground, flowing, all right? I tested it out, both of them, laid down on the ground, was drinking right out of them. It's fine. That was months ago, you know what I mean? And I've done that multiple times. I've done that before too. I did that years ago too, but I tested them too just to stay on top of the filters to make sure they're really working a few months ago, and they work, all right? They work great. So get these things. Emergencies can strike at any moment, guys. And you never know. It's like these people probably need a generator too. Like this flooding happened, it knocked out all the water pumps. A lot of people's houses were flooding, properties were flooding, and they weren't able to pump the water out themselves. You know, if they had some kind of electricity source to get the water out, that might have saved their properties too. There's just all these things that could hit at any moment. You know, an emergency could hit at any moment. All right, look at Florida. They even had a week to prepare, days to prepare. People were told, hey, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And a lot of people just waited till the last moment to prepare until it was too late. All right, people did lose their lives, and people did lose everything. People lost their houses, people lost everything in these situations, and you never know when it could hit. And you can't depend on the government to save you from it. All right, the National Guard has been in Jackson, Mississippi for 40 days. And I'm thankful they're there, all right? People are thankful they're handing out water bottles, helping people, but 40 days. Imagine not having water for 40 days. You should have a reverse osmosis water filter too on your house, all right? Because they're telling you to boil your water. Some people that do have water, they're saying, even though I boiled it, it's still brown, disgusting looking water, and I don't want to drink it, and I don't want to shower in it. You know, it's too much. It's nasty. You want to be in clean water. You want to feel clean. You want to drink clean water. So if you had a reverse osmosis filter, this wouldn't be an issue for you. It could filter out. You could have the cleanest, purest distilled water if you wanted it in this situation to shower and drink all this stuff. So look into these systems. Water's critical. Water's like one of the first things. If you're buying a property for homesteading or prepping or something like that, one of the first things you need to look in is the water source. Can you drill a well here? Can you get well permits? Especially out west, a lot of properties you cannot, water plants with it or anything like that. You can't have a homestead with your water. There's all these different restrictions on the water, and you have to have a certain amount of acreage, certain kind of well, all this stuff. There's all these different restrictions if you're buying raw land and trying to build on it. Water is one of the first things you always have to look at. Can I get water to this property? Because you pretty much can't do anything. You can't build a house, you can't homestead, you can't grow or anything if you can't get water access. So super important, super critical, and just another kind of warning sign of, you need to get prepared. You need to take your own preparedness and be responsible for your own preparedness. And you can't rely on the government to be prepared for you. Hopefully they can help, hopefully, but you really should not rely on that. You should have your own preparedness and be ready just in case something happens like this to you. So get ready, guys. Hopefully they're saying it's going to be fixed for these people at the end of November. So that's good. Good news for people in Jackson, Mississippi. Let me know if you're in Mississippi, if you have any boots on the ground info on this. Thank you guys for watching, and you have a big old blessed day.